Hi everyone, my name is Moses Openja. Welcome to our presentation about analysis of modern listening topics, a large-scale study using Stackoverflow. This study was accompanied by two professors, Bram Adams and Foxcombe. We are all from the Department of Computer and Software Engineering at Polytechnic, Montreal in Canada. In this study, we highlight the key challenges that are faced during modern listening process. Release engineering aims at taking high-quality code changes from the development branches until these changes is made available to the end user. Not only taking high-quality code change, but also faster. This is due to factors such as high competition or avoiding the risk by reducing the release cycle. This is why many companies are adopting to time box releases, also known as faster release, whereby they are now limited to fewer weeks or even days to make new releases instead of taking months or years. In modern engineering, there are 6 major phases that are followed. This phase includes continuous regression phase, whereby the code changes from development branches are merged into central repository, also known as master. These changes are integrated and tested, verifying that everything is working before it's taken for building and packaging. The infrastructure as code, the infrastructure needed for software are specified within the code. This is particularly important for dynamic changes that may occur later in the software. An example of this could be a database configuration settings. In the deployment phase, the software is now being prepared for release. An example could be a web application whereby the deployment files are now moved into special directory waiting for release. At the release phase, the software is now made available for use to the end user. These steps may become complex as the size of software increases, and developers must implement different tools in each of these steps. In fact, there are so much tools that they are supposed to choose from. An example of this could be configuration tools or containers or release management tools, among others. However, developers find this challenging and seek for help from mainly forums such as Stackoverflow. This could be on how to set up a tool or a concept they may not be familiar with. And this is where the objective of this study was derived from. The objective of our study was to identify the main issues and discussion that are discussed around stack engineering. We also aim at understanding the popular and the difficult topics and how they correlated. Finally, we aim at understanding the types of engineering questions that engineers are interested in Stack Overflow. This is particularly important to understand what kind of issues they need answers to. To address our research questions, we follow a set of methodology whereby we need to extract the necessary data related to stack engineering only. In general, we extracted the data that was ever posted from 2008 to 2019. We then developed a set of dataset that was used to extract the posts related to engineering. In total, we extracted a total of 260 posts. We then process and model this into topics that was used to answer our questions 1 through 5 as explained in the next slides. Using topic modeling techniques, we identify a total of 38 topics that covers all phases of engineering from integration till the release phase. We found out that most of the questions asked was related to continuous regression phase with a total of 21% and only 5.2% was asked in release phase. We also found out that most of the questions was about testing, whereas the list of the questions was in artifact management in release phase. We further investigated the popularity of the topics using 3 well-known metrics. The metrics we use include the average view, the average favorite questions, and the average number of scores for each questions in the topics. Using these 3 metrics, we identify topics about merge conflict branching as most popular. We further investigated the difficulties to find answers to each of these topics. For our case, we used 2 well-known metrics, which include the number of accepted answers and the hours to receive the accepted answers. Using these 2 metrics, we identify topics such as mobile app debugging and deployment as the most challenging to find answers. We further investigated the trade-off between the popularity and the difficulties to find answers. And in our case, we used kind of correlation and found out a negative correlation even at the 80% confidence interval. In particular, we identified topics about security as both popular and even challenging. Finally, we identified the type of questions that listeners are interested in. We group these questions into how, the what, and the why. The how aspect identifies how to achieve an objectives, whereas the what interested in the concepts, and the why aim to understand the reason for an occurrence. This could be occurring and errors, and they need to understand why this has happened. In general, we found out that most of the questions that are asked in engineering are related to how aspect, followed by the what and then the why. We found out that the majority of the questions about how was in the deployment phase, whereas the most of the question about why was in the infrastructure and the build phase. And most of the questions about what was in the integration, which is the first phase of engineering. Using our results, we derive a set of implications to the researchers, the practitioners, as well as the educators. In general, we pointed out the top difficult topics to be taken care of for the future research by the researchers. The example of the questions, the topics include the mobile app debugging, code review, or web deployment, among others. We also pointed out the topics which are difficult, such as security, Docker, or continuous deployment to be taken care of when assigning tasks by the lead developer. We further highlighted the popular questions such as testing or merge conflict that should be given in classes. In general, we found out that listeners are looking for specific helps to their problems, the concepts as errors. This was manifested in the higher percentage of the how questions, the what, and the why. This is the summary of our presentation. Thank you.